Welcome to the Get At Gaming Podcast, episode 44. I am one of your hosts for this morning, evening, day. Alex, I think that's my name. But joining me here today in this lovely day, evening, morning, whatever time you're listening, it's always Get At Gaming time. Ben is here with me. Ben, how are you doing today?
Great. We're mid-November, and I'm excited because we're gonna have Thanksgiving soon, and I am almost done Christmas shopping, which is amazing.
That's awesome. So see, I haven't really started. Um I don't know. Like it's really hard to buy for certain people in my family, so I normally wait until like I'm actually physically there to start doing things, but I am going to New York here pretty soon, so like maybe I'll find something over there. Maybe I can get some gifts. Get some cool little things from these different stores. I know both my sisters really like Animal Crossing. Maybe I can find some cool Animal Crossing things. But yeah, Christmas is just around the corner, but you know what else is just around the corner?
What's that?
Some what we've been playing in hidden trophies for today. So I don't really have anything for hidden trophy wise. I know you have quite a lot, so if you want to go first, and then I'll talk about what I've been playing.
Yes. So super excited. I have not really bought NES games for a while. I've been trying to save money. Alex said he's going to New York, and I'm going to give him some money. I'm probably going to ask for one game particular, which is GI Joe. I really want it. But anyway, so I bought a couple games here, and I always buy like the mint ones. I am very particular on how my games look now. So the first one, as I'm showing the camera, is Bugs Bunny Birthday Blowout, which some of these games are awful games, but you know it is what it is when you're a collector. I also got Bugs Bunny in Crazy Castle, maybe a game you guys have heard of called Bubble Bobble, which, by the way, I bought these. They were way underpriced. Yeah, I was cracking up.
That's
One
awesome.
that I had been on a lookout for a while, and I showed this to Alex, and Alex can verify how pristine this one looks. But I got Battletoads, and then one I never have heard of ever. It's called Circus Caper. It's a Toho game, which is crazy.
Yeah.
There, um, I'm gonna have to reorganize this because there's no room. I think I'm going to double check. I want to say I'm at 250, if not more. Um, yeah, I am at 232. So that is quite the feat
That's a lot.
of any. Yeah, I when I started doing this, it was one thing that me and my son did together, and then he was like, "I don't want to do this anymore." And I said, I want to see how many games I can get before he graduates high school. And he's a sophomore. If I can get to 400 games before he graduates, that actually puts me, there was like 648 North American titles. That's a huge, that's a huge number of what's been available here in the United States. So,
Yeah.
will I ever own the expensive ones? Probably not. Um, if anyone wants to send me NES games, I'm always down for that. We can figure that one out.
Yeah, just hit us up on Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah. I actually watched a guy on TikTok today, Alex, and he was like, "Oh, thank you for sending me these." And he's going through the games, and then one of them in particular was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. So I looked it up. Yeah, that's an expensive game that someone just sent him.
Yeah, it is. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully it's real or something. Because like, what if they just send him a fake one? Like, I mean, it's the thought that counts, but at the same time, don't put fake games into the ecosystem.
Right. Right. I remember when there was a reproduction of the Nintendo Championship. It was a blue one,
Yep.
sold for $60. That right there now is selling for a couple $100, and it's a repo. It doesn't even look like the original. And
Yeah.
I realize that those are ones I'll never own a little Samson. Probably never own stadium events unless I get it from somebody on accident, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Have I played all these games? Probably not.
So
Battletoads I did though.
question here for you, for the audience, or audience and I are we have a big question for you. So I
Yes.
know that you have, this is your second time trying to do this. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you have plans of selling this again at any point, or do you actually plan on sticking with it regardless and like ending with it and like not, like, say like you can't get everything, like are you still just gonna keep all your NES games?
That's a really good question because I don't know. I don't know. Um, this is a thing from my childhood though. Like I and I've told this to Alex. I've been wanting an NES in box. Saw one today where I buy stuff. I didn't really trust it. Alex backs me up on that because it said complete, but you never know.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. That's a hard question.
yeah.
It's this is taking a lot of work. I don't think people realize. Luckily for me, Alex goes to Indy quite often, and he'll look for stuff for me and say, "Hey, they have these. I know that these are ones you've talked about."
Hmm.
Um, so that's always really nice, but it is difficult to get some of them. At some point, I will get frustrated because I have all the commons.
Hmm.
Um, the more expensive ones are going up in price everywhere. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I did start buying a couple variants, which is dangerous. Um, I know Alex has pointed out that Metroid has two different covers.
Yep.
Zelda, both Zeldas have different covers. They
Yep.
have the gold ones and then they have the normal gray. I did recently buy a Super Mario Brothers 3 with the Bro, so it's on different levels. So I have both of those. I don't know. I mean, he's a sophomore now, so we still got another 2 years. But you know, as a collector, when you're trying to get a lot of something like this, it does get frustrating when you're either finding fakes or you go to all these places and you can't
Yeah.
find the ones you're looking for. I mean, you collect stuff. There's got to be a time where you were like, "This is so frustrating because I just want like this one or two titles."
Yeah, there luckily I seem to always find what I'm looking for. Um or at least I'm not, if even if I'm not specifically looking for something, I find something on a list. Now, I don't really have a list anymore. But like I do find things where I'm like, "Oh yeah, I actually do want that." So like the most recent one was probably that Pokemon Stadium 2 that I showed off a while ago, cuz
Yeah,
like you just don't see that in the wild at all. Like it's not a expensive game by any means, but like it's just one of those games that just people tend to hold on to, whereas like there are a lot more of the original English Pokemon Stadium. There are technically two Pokemon stadiums in Japan. Um so like yeah, like I see those around more often, and like those are always like a set price, like 20-25 dollars. But um yeah, there always is that part of me like where like there are some games I'm trying to look for again, like I really like the Ganbare Goemon, so like Mystical Ninja games. I used to have one for the Game Boy a long time ago when I was younger, because I didn't own the one for the N64. I rent that one all the time. So then we got the one that plays like Zelda. It's like an overhead Game Boy game where you just play as the
yeah,
different characters. And um I can't find that. I found it once, but then I didn't buy it, and now I really regret it.
that is the
Like I don't know
worst,
where
by
it
the way.
is. Like I might still have it. Like that's the thing. I might actually still have that game somewhere, or it might be at my parents' house or something like that. Because I doubt I ever sold that. Especially because like I have a bunch of like the Game Gear games and stuff. I have a Game Gear still. I have all this other stuff. So I would expect myself to have most of these games. It's just they're probably just somewhere random.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
uh, and that's the crazy part is like, there's been times where I've been out and I'm like, oh, I'll come back and get that some other time, and then you don't see it. I will give you a prime example of that. Um, there's a Wario game on NES. I think it's like Warrior Woods or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's an uncommon game. I saw it once, I didn't buy it, and then I never saw it again. And it was like everywhere I go, I've never seen it, which is weird because I don't feel like it's not an uncommon game, you know? But
Yeah. Now, I know there was one for, I'm gonna look it up right now. So sorry for the clickety clacks from my keyboard.
oh no,
But yeah, Wario's Woods was for the NES, but then it was also for the Super Nintendo. Now, did the Super Nintendo version come out over here as well?
I know there was a Game Boy one at one point as well, wasn't there? Right?
No, because I think it's just NES and Super Nintendo for
Okay,
Wario's Woods. Um, yeah, I'm seeing here NES, SNES, and Wii. Now, I just don't know if the SNES version came out over here or not, because like I never see that one, and like it seems like Nintendo doesn't really show off that one at all. Because like when you look at like the classic systems and all that, you see the original one. You don't see the Super Nintendo
right.
one. So
I'm actually checking it out on eBay. And by the way, just so everyone knows, my collection only 10% of this was bought online. Everything else was out in the wilderness or like friends like, hey, I've got some NES. Do you want to buy them from me? I know I bought a lot from Spencer.
mhm.
At one point, he was collecting them, and then he wasn't. Um, yeah, I mean, this game's like a $30 game.
I
It's not
want I want to say 99% of my stuff was bots in person. Honestly,
well, and Alex will contest because I have a Tiny Toons on NES that we're gonna open at one point.
that's
I
true.
don't
You
I don't
should
know what's in it.
maybe
I have
someday you'll
no
bring it
idea.
over and we can take a look, crack it open. TikTok,
Alex is Alex is like, there's probably dead bugs in there, but the
probably,
game doesn't work at all.
huh?
And so I'm wondering if something just got loose. Now, when I bought it, I told the guy, and he gave me a discount. He gave me some money back, but I bought it and it looked great, and it's trashed. I mean, it looks awful.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean that is my hidden treasure there. I know I went on like a little bit of a tangent.
No, you're good.
But what about you? What have you been playing, or hidden treasure?
Yeah, so I actually don't have anything to show off. I haven't really bought anything as of late. I go to Disc Replay and I look at things. The things that I guess there is a new thing I want to try to look for. Or maybe I didn't show it. I don't know. It's in a glass case right now over in the living room. But I did get a while ago. I did buy something kind of online. I bought it through Facebook. I don't know if I talked about it on the show or not, but I did buy Kingdom Hearts Recoded, the second DS game on there. So like that's probably the most recent thing that I bought. Otherwise, what I've been playing, I restarted or I continued Yakuza 3 randomly last week, or I guess over the weekend. And like I wasn't really far at all the last time I started. Like I want to say like I kind of just did a little bit and then did the prologue and that was it, and then saved. And now today before this recording, I am on chapter 10 of 13. So
Wow.
yeah, so I'm almost done. First half of the first 3 chapters of this game is trash. Like it's not a fun time. I really like the story of everything. Basically, these games are super old, but so mild spoilers here or there. Basically, after the events of Yakuza 1 and 2, and I guess technically 0, but that's a prequel that didn't exist when this game came out. Kiryu, the main character, retires from being in the Yakuza and he goes to Okinawa, and he basically helps keep a orphanage afloat since he was an orphan when he was a child. So he just kind of just quits being a big tough man and just runs an orphanage and takes care of all these kids. So the first 3 chapters is you in Okinawa doing weird fetch quests and like hanging out with the kids and doing things like I don't know, playing hide and go seek or just like random weird stuff like that, or it's just like the map is really awkward and weird as well. But this is my first time playing an actual Yakuza game not remade, because this is the remastered version of 3 that came in the remastered collection. So like there are a lot of quality of life things that I missed from the previous ones, such as you can't pause during cutscenes just at all. So like I was sitting there for like a good 15-20 minutes just watching a cutscene happen, and I tested it out too because I like went to the main menu like with my PS5 and then turned it back on. They were still talking. I missed a little bit. Like it doesn't pause that there. I bet it'll pause if like I made the console go to sleep. But yeah, it doesn't pause there. But the combat and everything is still Yakuza more or less, but it's less grindy. Like you kind of just get experience just by playing the game. There aren't as many random encounters as there used to be in the previous games. Like you're just walking around, and sometimes if you bump into someone, a guy would just be like, "Hey, we're fighting," and then you get like money or whatever, and that's pretty much it. You don't really get experience from those. You only get really experience through actual bosses or like story moments. So like yeah, the game is easy in that regard. But the combat and the bosses seem to have too much health, so you're just kind of just punching for a while. But
You
yeah,
just
like the story's
for a
good.
while.
Hmm?
Yeah, you just punch for a while. I have those games that are along those levels. I have the first one at least,
Okay.
where you play like you were a lawyer, but now you're like a detective. Uh, and it
Oh,
was funny because
right. Yeah, yeah. You're playing Judgment. Yeah.
yeah, so you're like running down the road, and then someone's like, hey, like Yakuza want to fight you, and then after you win money or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I've played a little bit of the other games. Not my cup of tea, which is hilarious because Judgment is literally like one of those. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, but I actually stopped playing Judgment because I got really bored with it. So the
So,
fact that you're still playing,
yeah, so I was really like just upset with 3 because I was just like, man, this isn't good. And then as soon as chapter 3 ended and we got back to Kamurocho, which is like the main like city that you're in instead of Okinawa, and I was like, man, this is fun. I like this game a lot. I like all these characters. Oh, look, this cool guy's back. Oh man, this is stuff is happening. I know those guys. Like this game really rewards you for playing every single game, because if you haven't met a character before, you at least like know like their family or like just certain ways that these people may act. So like yeah, these games are definitely they're they're not annoying to go through, but for me they kind of are just because like there's so many of them and I really just want to play the
right?
RPG one, but I know I'm going to regret it if I don't play all these games in order, just because again, every game references itself. And Kiryu is like one is a boss in the newest game. So like I feel like I should at least finish out his story because I'd like to know where he's at, how he's going, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I didn't realize you fell off a Judgment. Like honestly, the at least with the first and second one, honestly with kind of all of them except this one because it seems like really fast paced and I'm really enjoying the story. Um, I did kind of fall off of them somewhat because you do get kind of bored at certain parts where it's just like, oh, I'm just fighting again.
Yeah,
But like with this game in particular, again, since there isn't really random battles as much as there used to in those games, um, like yeah, it seems like it's more on track, like it's more
right.
focused. So like that's why I'm enjoying this a lot after chapter
I,
3.
I felt like I was doing really well, and then you get to a boss battle, and then you're like, "Why am I dying? I've been playing this for like 4 hours with no problems."
Yep,
And then you get to
that's
a boss battle, and with this game, you got to learn to. There's a lock on it; doesn't work very well. But the one thing you have to remember to do is to dodge, and you got to get really good at dodging and parrying. Um,
use that
if you
X
can't,
button.
yep. If you could do that, then you get better, and you can do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Um, it kind of reminds me of the way he fights. like Spike from Cowboy Bebop. That's why I liked it so
He kind
much.
of looks
That
like that a little bit.
Yeah, he does. Uh, and so I wanted to play the new one, so I got this one for really cheap. I let my friend borrow it, so it's probably gone. But I think I get those Yakuza games now. Like I get and understand. I mean, I spent one day just hitting baseballs at a baseball thing.
Yeah, or you could just go to the arcade and just play old Sega games. Like
Yeah, that
it's
was kind of cool.
yeah, like I did that before, and one of the games where I just did a side quest where I was just beating like I don't know, like one of those games like one of those racing games or whatever. So like yeah, it's definitely a fun time. I hope you get back into Judgment at least at some point because um it seems like it's a fun game. Now I will say with some Yakuza games, especially, um, they bosses tend to be a lot harder, but a way to cheese them is to get weapons. So if you're able to go to a weapon shop and just equip them to yourself and then just use the weapons, bosses don't know what to do against weapons. So like you'll get more out of it by just I don't know, just equipping yourself very well with weapons, and then you can just progress. Because yeah, that's what I've heard from a coworker actually that yeah, Judgment has really bad um bosses in the sense of like yeah, the difficulty spikes way too
Yeah,
much.
and and on a side note, I may or may not been playing on my Xbox, which is rare. I was playing Final Fantasy 13. It showed up, and I'm like, "Hey, I remember this game with the crazy cutscenes and the guy with the chocobo and the afro."
Yeah, I like
Uh,
that guy.
and I never finished the game, so I
Neither
was
did
playing
I.
a little bit of that. Um, I'm playing on Xbox, excuse me, Game Pass, but I think I might end up buying it. Um, they have it for the computer. I may buy it just for the computer, just because it'll probably run better.
I think the computer version's broken, unless they just
Oh,
fixed
really?
it recently. Yeah, I forget. I know there was one version of that game that was actually broken. Um, it just doesn't run well compared to the original. So I don't know. You'll have to try to look that up. But like, huh, that's cool. Yeah. I like that. I didn't like that game when I was younger because it's not Final Fantasy. But again, like, um, I've said this before. Just in life, I don't know if I've said this before on the podcast. But it's a very good RPG. It's just not a good Final Fantasy game because it's very linear and it's the battle system's awesome. It just doesn't feel Final Fantasy. Um, so like yeah, um I've been actually trying to look for those games for semi cheap so I could play them on my Xbox One or something because like I don't have Game Pass, but I do have an original like Xbox One, like the VCR version, I guess. Um, so yeah, I've been trying to look for those games so I could potentially play them. If not, then I'll just get them for my PS3. I have a PS3 still, so. But cool. Enough of games and stuff that we've been playing, I guess. Unless you been playing anything else.
Nah, I've been
Okay.
busy.
Yeah, haven't we all? We've all been busy doing things. I don't even remember what I streamed. I streamed something recently too. I don't remember what I did. Um. Anyway, let me see here. We have a bunch of news, but we've kind of put them together, and like we have a bunch of like Nintendo news, but then we put it all in one thing. Then we have some like other like random news things here that we kind of just put together as well. So like the first one, I thought we would talk about a little bit is Spider-Man. No Way Home. I had to think of what the title was. Something Home. Phone Home. But yeah, so that released a poster. I will say poster in quotations because it doesn't seem like an actual poster. Because if you look at like the layout and like the format of it, like it's not the size of a normal poster. When
Right.
you look at it compared to like the previous ones or whatever, it seems like there's more to it. I've seen some fans, like, I don't know if it was leaked or if it was fans where like they added other things to it, like there are two other posters and just made one giant poster. Um, with other Spider-Man, because people really want that stuff in this movie and I'm
Oh
wanting it
yes.
too. But like, yeah, on this poster, it shows Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider, and he's in his Iron Spider suit. He's doing the pose like he does in the trailer on that car, except like the I don't think the car is there in the poster. I forget if it is or not. But in the background you see Dr. Octavius, like tentacles, like his just metallic arms. Um you see um you see lightning, which looks like electro lightning. You see sand, which people are thinking like it might be Sandman. You're seeing Green Goblin as well, just like on his little helicarrier type, or what's that thing called? Goblin, what?
Little hover thing that he has.
Goblin hover thing. Yeah, there's a name for it. I don't remember what it's called. But like, yeah, you see that as well, and like it's just very interesting to see all these characters like hinted at, but also showing them. Um, I wonder a few things. I wonder if that's actually Willem Dafoe or not. Um, because it's possible it couldn't be. It's possible it might not be. Just because I don't know. Like we have Ned Leeds here, and we've had him for a while, and that actor who plays Ned, his best friend, in this movie series, he's lost a lot of weight. So it's possible like he could be in the Goblin suit, or at least a variant of him from like an alternate universe, timeline, whatever. Because it's the multiverse now, so anything could happen. But yeah, we have Ned's the Hobgoblin, like in like normal comics and stuff. Like he's never really Peter's friend, so like it was kind of weird to just have weird name drops in this show in these movies and just like not really go anywhere with it. So if they don't go anywhere with it, I'm gonna be kind of upset. But at the same time, like I really do want to see Willem Dafoe and just his crazy overacting, because he's excellent in that movie. Say what you
Oh
will
yeah.
about that movie and like how campy and stuff, like, but like him talking to himself in the mirror is awesome. Just the way his delivery, he just like gets really animated, like Godspeed, Spider-Man. Like just like stuff like that, like just those one-liners, deliver us from evil. Like there's so many like weird comic booky things that happen in that movie in particular, and a lot of it, a lot of the good stuff is thanks to Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. So I am
All I
really
have to
hoping we have him.
all I have to say is if anyone's wondering about William Dafoe, the movie's called Boondock Saints. Watch it because he is like, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah,
Uh, that's if you want to see William Dafoe being William Dafoe, watch that movie. You will thank me. I know everyone's like, "Oh, it's a great movie. It's a cult classic." Yes, but you know who took away the show? William Dafoe. That's who took away the show. I think this poster looks great. I'm excited. Uh, I want to go see it as soon as possible because I
yep,
don't want any spoilers. And
yeah.
this movie is going to have spoilers everywhere.
I'm so scared. Like I have to see this
Yeah,
movie when it comes out or something. Like I forget, when's that movie come out? Is it the 16th or is it like?
I want to say it's like this. It's in December.
Mm,
It's like the week of Christmas. I thought
hmm.
as I'm checking
I'm
out.
looking. Yeah, I'm looking. 17th, December 17th. So I am. Am I still working? It's a Friday. I'm still working. Um, maybe we got another day for me to call off, boys. Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna be out of town, so I'm hoping that I can go see that somehow because I won't have any transportation. So I'm gonna have to try to make someone go with me or drop me off. But assuming that they have a movie theater, because I feel like it's closed. I feel like I say that every time on this podcast, but I think that movie theater is closed over there. But yeah, like I'm very hyped for this movie. I always have been for any of these Spider-Man movies, especially because I really like Spider-Man. Like anything can happen now that the multiverse exists within the just all these movies and the MCU. It's great because like you could probably just hop into a movie and just not have to worry about knowing previous movies now. Because they could just do anything, and if you don't remember or understand what it is, it doesn't matter because that's how regular comics are now. Like it'll just be like, this is from issue 295. Like they could just have like a little like banner, like a little thing on the right corner, like in yellow. It would be like, for context, please see Captain Marvel. And
Yeah.
then like the date of it. But yeah, like I'm hoping that we do see the two other Spider-Men. It'd be really cool if they did reference Spider-Verse. I'd like to see some sort of version of Miles Morales, or if not our Miles, then like a version of him. It'd be really cool if like he came to our universe or something, and then it was like the voice actor who plays him, and he's just Miles or something. Like that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spider-Man, check it out. No Way Home. It's coming out in I already said it, December 17th of this year. It's only two and a
Yep.
half hours long as well. So like I'm happy because like that's long for me nowadays, but like that's not too long. That's not like Endgame long. That's not like other that's not that's not Snyder cut long, obviously. But
Right.
yeah. Let's see here. I need to mute my mic because I need to blow my nose. But if you'd love to tell the lovely people at home where they can find us and all that cool stuff, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. So check us out on Facebook and Twitter. You know, we also have a YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers, and so like, add us. Come over to iTunes, where we're on all of the major platforms for the audio version, YouTube for the video version. You know, hit subscribe, like, give us some comments, you know, and help us move along on the show. We're doing really great, and we got big things planned for next year. So help us out.
Yes, yes, I appreciate all of you, all of your support. Go find us all those places. We'll talk about it at the end of the show as well. But that was our mid-break ad read, I guess, of this show because we've already been going for like 30 minutes. We both been just rambling on. Like, who's to say we should talk about all this news, honestly? Because like, there's a lot to talk about, but we'll try to get through it as fast as we can. First, a couple of these, like, so I have it pulled up here. Season 2, episode 20. We accidentally called Sonic Rangers Sonic Frontier. And hey, guess what? The first news story is that the Sonic 2022 game may be called Sonic Frontiers. So we were close. We accidentally called it something, and that's actually going to be the name potentially.
Yes, yes.
So like, yeah, this comes from like trademark stuff for Japanese and English for a new game called Sonic Frontiers. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm still excited for this game because it could be really good because like it's supposed to potentially be like open world and everything. So like that'd be very interesting to see. Because we've kind of had a little bit open world with the Sonic Adventure games, but that was more like hub world, open world, and then you
Yeah.
go into a level. But having an actual open world Sonic, I'm interested in seeing what that looks like.
You know, to be honest, if they just stick to their roots like they do with Mario, um, they can't screw this up. I mean, to be honest, they really can't. Yes, we did have the Shadow game. We had, you know, Sonic Adventures. We've had some mess ups, but I'm excited because this is a chance for them to do Sonic right and bring Sonic back. I mean, I had a Sega Genesis, so you bet I had Sonic the Hedgehog when it came out and was blown away by
I
how
had it on the
fast it
Game
was.
Gear.
Yeah.
That's where I played it.
So I'm hoping that with this coming out, they're gonna just do it right. I mean, I know we already talked about it in other episodes, but yeah, I'm really hoping they do this right. And the fact that we called the name, that's right. I think that's awesome that we were almost there with that.
Indeed. It's really awesome here. Second news story / another mini news story. Um, Among Us announces major updates after a direct style presentation. There's new roles and cosmetics for the game, and the update is actually out right now. So you can go and take a look and update your game and see what you get. So yeah, there's a lot of new cosmetics, so because you can like dress up your Among Us man any way that you want. Um, but then there's also new abilities for let's see, for the certain people. So there's like a scientist now. There's an engineer. There's a shapeshifter. But like, yeah, I remember seeing these a while back. Like, I remember especially seeing shapeshifter. I was like, oh, that's weird. Like,
Yeah,
how would that work in the game? But like, it's basically like imposter can choose to change their appearance to a different crewmate and then like go and kill someone and basically get caught and leave and then come back, and then it's gonna cause all sorts of confusion because they'll be like, oh, I saw Ben over there. It's like, that wasn't me, I was over here. And then just the imposters just like laughing to themselves because they were the ones who framed him. So yeah, I
I
don't know how well this stuff will work through the way that people stream it, because
yeah
a lot of people do voice chat, and this game doesn't seem to be good with voice chat if you added all this kind of stuff to it.
right.
Because you would find it weird that someone isn't talking, for example. Like say like yeah, say like I was the shapeshifter and I shapeshifted as you and went towards someone, and they asked me a question as if I was you, and then I couldn't really like say anything.
Yeah, this is interesting. I never really played much of this when the hype was there. This came out during like the start of the pandemic,
Well,
and
it actually was out earlier than that. It's just that
yeah,
people started like actually really noticing this game existed at the start
yeah,
of the pandemic.
and I think it's a great concept, and the fact that this small group of people made this game, and now they're I mean they're being released on major systems, and stuff like that. So that's awesome. I'm glad they're doing updates. I think they have the money now to do all these crazy things that they wanted to do before. I remember the video game awards last year. They won a couple awards, and they were like,
Mm-hmm.
wow. Um, so good. I think that's good for them. I think it's great, and I'm excited to see, this. Do I think I'm gonna play it again? I don't know. I mean, if we got a group of like us together to play, I think that'd be fun. If we all
I
played on.
I do own it on Steam, so like we could potentially play it somehow.
Hmm?
Yeah.
I would probably play it then. But to play it with random people, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's yeah, again, like I don't know how well some of these updates are gonna go just for people who do a lot of voice chats, but um yeah, I just wanted to talk about Among Us there for a little bit just because it is breaking news essentially. That did happen today when we record, so the day, let's see here. Yeah, these come out on Wednesdays. So yeah, it comes out, this news came out the day of we're recording, so the day before. Um the next part of news here, Netflix has announced its live action cast for the One Piece live action television show. So they have announced the actors for Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Sanji, and Usopp. Now I'm gonna try to read these names. I'm gonna be bad. Inaki Godoy as Monkey D. Luffy. What is his name? Okay. Makinyu as Zoro. Emily Rudd as Nami. Jacob Romero Gibson as Usopp, and Taz Skylar as Sanji. When you look at these pictures of everyone, none of them look like the characters at
No,
all.
and I've got IMDb pulled up,
Mm,
um, and so yeah, a couple of them are British actors and stuff like that. So you know, but here's my thing with Cowboy Bebop coming out here very soon. I think that Netflix has a thing going where they're going to try and do this. Now, here's my only concern: is I have so far not liked any of the live action anime movies that have been brought over here to Netflix. Full Metal Alchemist was awful. Bleach I never finished. Uh, you know, I don't know, but I never watched this anime. I've tried a couple of times. It's a lot of episodes. It's not my type. It's got comedy with action, but it's more comedy based. And then at one point, it just drops off and gets completely dark.
I'm going to do a hot take over here. So if you don't like hot takes, please leave, I guess.
Just fast forward.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, fast forward.
Yeah, you can fast forward.
Fast forward after this hot take here. One Piece isn't worth it. It really isn't. Like the first beginning of it, it's fine. It's a little bit, but just because of how much there is, the anime is definitely not worth it. Now you could probably read it and be fine. Because like reading it, I remember reading like up to like 15 or 20 volumes of it, and like I thought it was fine, but like so it wasn't really that far, to be honest, compared to like episodes and stuff as well. So like yeah, it's not worth it. Like I don't really recommend people watching a show unless like you absolutely are really enjoying it, or you just really want to watch something mindless potentially. Like it's not worth it. And this is the guy who watches Detective Conan. Like although like I don't really actively watch that show either. I really just watch the movies or like the older episodes, because like that's another show that like has millions of, not millions, over 1,000 episodes of that show. So like yeah, there's a lot here. I don't recommend it.
Well, and you also have, I mean, this whole live action thing is stemmed a whole bunch of stuff. There was, um, so My Hero Academia, they're doing a live action of that. I don't think Netflix is doing it, but they are doing one. But I feel like if you're going to do a live action, don't pick an anime that has so many episodes. I mean, because these are episodes, and it's going to be hard to cover everything. Now, granted, a lot of those are fillers.
Or I have watched, it was a while back, but I did watch an episode of a One Piece, just try to get a feel of it or whatever. And there's probably only 10 to 8 minutes of actual like new episode in there, because like the beginning of it was like what felt like 5 or 6 minutes of recap of the previous episodes, and then there's the opening, which is like a minute 30, and then there's the actual episode, and then there's like all this other stuff, and then there's the ending, and there's flashbacks. Like there is barely an episode in there. So like it's possible, I mean, at a certain point you probably could tell the whole story, and there's just like no weird pacing anymore. So like
so basically you literally just described Dragon Ball Z, like the Cell Saga and the Boo Saga, because that's literally what it was. You had like 10 minutes of what was going on. Yeah. I think if they're gonna do a live action, pick some great ones. Like Outlaw Star is a good one.
Well, according to this article that we're looking at from from IGN, like Netflix also recently announced to do Yu Yu Hakusho as well.
I mean, I did like Yu Yu Hakusho. I think that's a great one.
Yeah, and I feel like
Uh,
that'd be easy. That be a little easier to do. Like, yes, there are demons and stuff, but like it's very, I don't know, like the humans and stuff, like they have spirit attacks. Like it's not like this Luffy kid over here who has like stretchy arms, so you're gonna have to animate his arms and all this stuff. Like
yeah,
that feels like it's gonna cost a lot and it's gonna look bad.
yeah. I mean, or another good one would be Trigun. I think that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Uh, I really do think that there's other ones, but the fans, I mean, the people that love One Piece, it is a huge fan base. So
It really
I
is. So like I'm excited for you guys, but I'm also scared for you guys.
yeah, we'll see a trailer. I mean, because everyone was dogging on Cowboy Bebop, and I felt like the trailer was very Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, I did too.
So,
So
and Jet is black. So,
yeah.
which is crazy because I had this thought of Jet, and then the guy that's playing him is black, obviously, and he sounds like Jet. Like I had that whole Jet feel from that
Hmm.
trailer.
Yeah, same.
I'll watch it. I'm kind of excited to watch it.
Yeah. I'm excited too as well. Maybe I'll watch the actual series again. We'll see. Um but yeah, those were our news stories there. The last news story is a bunch of little things here. So Nintendo had some company management briefing earlier last week. I think it was last week. Yeah, the 5th. So and they just talked about a whole bunch of stuff here. Basically, there's a few things here saying like Nintendo is still discussing what its next console after the Switch might be. According to them, they say that they're still kind of like in the middle of their Switch's life cycle. So they still are planning on still keeping the Switch. The date for the new system said 20XX. So like who knows when it's actually coming out. I don't think anytime soon just because the Switch is still selling a lot.
You can't.
um
They're sold out everywhere.
well, not only
So
that, like we don't really have a whole lot of chips, so like why even make something that you can't sell? um so yeah, like I expect us at least at some point to get some sort of Switch Pro eventually. Now I was always right when I said we weren't really getting a Switch Pro. I might have. I feel like I said that a few times, but then I kind of eventually said, "Fine, we might be getting it," and then we didn't. So I'm just gonna say I'm always right. And yeah, so like we didn't get it. I didn't really expect a Pro to show up at some point. I remember saying like, oh, it might show up for that new Pokemon game next year. But since we're still having issues finding all these chips and stuff for not only um, game systems but computers, cars, just everything relies on all this stuff. Like I don't think we're gonna see a new system anytime soon. Um,
I think, and another podcaster I listened to brought this up. I think that's why we didn't see an N64 Classic.
yeah, I agree.
We didn't see it because the chip shortage, and so they brought it digitally so everyone can still enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, uh, I don't picture. To be honest, if I had to pick a date, I'm gonna say 2025.
Oh,
And I know that's out. It's out there.
that's a little late. I would
But
expect 2024.
I mean, we're going into 2022, so it's
Oh
another.
yeah,
It's
that's true.
just. I mean, this gives them time to get it ready, get it marketed, um, and by that point, also, we will still be in the PS5, Xbox Series X cycle. We'll still be there.
I hope people actually have them at that point.
Yeah, I really do hope so as well. But yeah, I just Nintendo does their own thing, and I love when they announced it, and you had the PS5 coming out, and then you had the Xbox Series X, and people were like, "It's gonna kill Nintendo," and I'm like, "No, I mean, look at it now. You can't even buy a regular Switch in the stores,
Yeah.
let alone a Switch Lite. They're nowhere to be found. And
Yeah.
here's how many years they've been out?
Yeah, it came out in 2017, 2018. So like, yeah, it's been out for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the things that they talked about. Just like, hey, console's coming out eventually. We're still working on like the internal designs of what it could be, but we don't know what it is yet. Um, and one of the other things they talked about, oof, they talk about oof. Nintendo. This is another IGN. The first one was from Joseph Screbbles. This one's from Jared Moore. Nintendo isn't ruling out acquiring companies, but will prioritize investing in its existing studios. Um, I've heard this from a bunch of other avenues as well. That Nintendo, if you notice, like doesn't really speak about buying people and just like
no,
buying like other developers.
that's so corporate. So corporate.
But it's weird though, because well, like again, like when I listen to other things, you talk about like Microsoft, and Microsoft this generation is like, yep, we are buying this. We plan on getting more studios. We plan on doing all these things, so we have games. And Nintendo's just like, we're doing stuff. Hope you buy it.
It's Nintendo. I mean, talk about the little engine that could, because that's what Nintendo is. Nintendo stays traditional to what they've been doing. They don't change what they're doing. And if you think about it, they've been doing the same thing for 20, 30 years and they don't change it. They go their own pace. Here we have a system that can go to, you know what, maybe 1080, but doubtful, like 720.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the most powerful. The games look good, but they're not to what we're seeing on others.
Yeah.
Uh, this thing's not even as powerful as like a PS4 Pro or an Xbox. You know, but like it's still making money. I mean, they're selling a crap ton of these things. So for them to announce that, it's not surprising. It seems very corporate and along their corporate line of what they do.
It feels very Nintendo, lack of a better term, as well. But like, yeah, it's interesting because I just thought of it. Like, Nintendo is really the last game company, or at least like system company, um, who is like still basically in a fully Japanese mindset, because Sony is now pretty much all American. Like, say what you will, but like Sony really focuses on America instead. Like, I want to say the PS4 came out in America first,
It did.
and like all this other stuff. So like, yeah, they really only care about the Western market, whereas Nintendo seems to care about both. Um, so like, that's probably one of the reasons why it is still successful, because they are thinking still for their demographics over there. Because like, I'm curious how many people have PS5s over in Japan, and I want to say it's probably less than 100. I don't know. Like, I feel like there really isn't a whole lot. Like, and I remember seeing I forget where exactly it was at in Japan, but like, you couldn't, to stop scalpers from getting it, you'd be put into a lottery to buy it, like at different stores.
And when you would pick it up, they would break the seal.
Hmm.
They would basically make you open it up
Yeah.
right there. Uh, Nintendo is one of the old school Japanese businesses, and that's exactly that. Which Japanese businesses are, let's keep moving forward, but also they're like, let's not reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
We know what we're doing, uh, and they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep doing what they've been doing, and I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Uh, because everyone dogged them. Again, everyone's dogged them on their choices and stuff like that. And here they are. They're keeping up with the big dogs right now.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of their choices,
Oh dear lord.
this is the last one. Nintendo promises to improve and expand the Switch Online service. The publisher says it's striving to provide services that satisfy consumers. Basically, in response to the poor reception for their expansion pass and other things just in general, Nintendo said, quote, continue to expand both Nintendo Switch Online and Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack in order to provide services that satisfy its fan base. So like they're still planning on still keeping the same price. They didn't say anything but about like the price changing or anything like that. They're still just talking about like, yep, we're still doing N64. We're still doing this. Like, yeah, there's issues with the input lag. There's issues with this, but they're still just kind of doing their things and just saying, yeah, we'll fix it, but they don't really say how they're gonna fix it.
Right.
So
And
that's just kind of concerning.
Here's what's funny about that. Is yes, that is true. But I like on this quote here that you read, they're going to expand both Nintendo Switch Online and the Online Plus expansion. They know that they were reaching for the moon on this one. If you look, they have, according to when I was listening to one of my podcasts this week, they have broken a record. They have the most dislikes of any video on YouTube, and I just looked them up.
Yeah,
they're at 1.4 million dislikes. Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I'm sorry, 172,000 dislikes. 1.4 million people have watched it. That's crazy. But if I was reading through this down here, and is it despite taking some criticism over the launch and the premier title subscription service elsewhere, they said an increase in overall number of players subscribed to Nintendo Switch in the past year. Now, granted, this is all before this. It says for the year.
Yep.
The publisher stated that it has increased as 32 million, a figure that is 6 million up from this time last year. Now, granted, that was during the whole year.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's just interesting to see. And again, like, yeah, they're talking about expansion as well as just normal Nintendo Switch Online. The way I take when it says Nintendo Switch Online is not really like the extra stuff. So I don't think they're gonna really touch like the NES Super Nintendo anymore. I think that's more of like the actual service of, does our online work? Because it seems like newer games, like the newer Mario parties and like even the previous one, like actually seem to work better than other things. So like I wonder if it kind of sounds like they are using different architecture, or if not, like they're experimenting with different things to make it be better. So
and I didn't expect a price drop, but this is what I did expect. They know that it's not being received well. They're getting a lot of flack, which when you see things not working well on a system, it's usually not Nintendo. You know?
yeah.
What I think is going to happen, I think they're going to add a couple more NES and Super Nintendo games. I think before the holidays, they're going to add something else. And it's going to be like a bigger thing. So maybe they add a couple N64 games that they didn't talk about, or maybe some Sega Genesis games, or maybe Game Boy. But here's the thing: is that number is great, but that number's for the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
People are not upgrading. I was reading through some of the comments from their video on YouTube, and people are like definitely saying like, "Well, I'm not going to upgrade to the expansion pass."
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of those comments. I personally just renewed my year membership, but I did not go with the expansion pack. So I paid my $34.99 for my family plan. As of right now, I have no plans of going to the expansion. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. And yes, people are going to be like, well, to buy those games separate, it'd be more money. Well, yes, but I don't really want to play any of those games.
The only way, yeah, the only way that'd be worth it for you, because Um, there are certain families and things that like do all play Animal Crossing. So like if you each had a Switch and you each wanted the DLC, then like yeah, that'd be worth it for you in the long run. But otherwise, like yeah, otherwise it's probably not worth it for you unless they add more things, or I don't know if there's a random sale here or there or whatever. But
But I
yeah.
feel like their sales aren't good. At least with PlayStation Plus, there's a sale, right? For
Hmm.
50% off these types of games. But then you get an extra 10 to 15 if you're a PlayStation Plus. Plus, every month there are going to be 3 or 4 games that drop every single month. Uh, I was actually talking with my friends and they go, well, they dropped all those games day one. Well, when the PlayStation Plus did their thing for the PlayStation 5, they dropped what? 10 games? 15 games
Maybe
at
more than
once?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they added more after that.
Yeah.
And you're still getting your PlayStation Plus. That's the only thing is me is like if they can say, look, we're going to guarantee to drop brand new games every month, and even if it's like one title, because these are big titles,
Yeah.
do something like that.
I know that PlayStation Plus like does drop quote unquote big titles and stuff all the time. But how many people are actually playing their PlayStation Plus games versus just adding them? Whereas how many people are actually playing these N64 games or Genesis games versus just having them? Like I feel like there's more people actually playing these N64 games compared to anyone playing Knockout City right now. Like I added Knockout City to my thing. I was very interested in that game when it was first shown off. I have not touched it.
I give you that, but I also think that they're talking about these numbers for the year because the reason they're doing it is it's like chess where you move somebody in a way to kind of focus on that
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think that their numbers from people getting the expansion, uh, the Nintendo Online Plus expansion, are as good as what they want. I don't think I think they thought they were just going to blow up and people were going to do it, and
Yeah.
I don't think they're good as what they would, or they wouldn't have made that comment.
Yeah. Like yeah, I'm curious what's gonna happen there. Like I I don't know. We'll just have to wait on the numbers and see, but I really don't know how many people are actually playing N64 versus whatever whoever actually bought these, cuz I want to say there's probably a 2% that bought the expansion pass to play Genesis. Like there's
Yeah,
no reason like why you would go and buy this expansion pass to play Genesis when you have all these other Genesis collections that you can just buy as a cartridge on Switch. Now, all these N64 games, on the other hand, like yeah, it's definitely um, worth it and everything. Um, but only if you want to play those games. If you don't want to play those games, then yeah, it's clearly not worth it. Um, but yeah, that's our ranting about Nintendo. Unless you have anything else.
no, and for people listening, I'm not dogging on them because before I did my job, now I was in sales, and I want to try and get that maximum amount.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a difference between me shooting for the moon, and I think that price really was a sticker shock.
Yeah,
Now, just from my personal thoughts, like I said, if the fact they're talking about that they're up in numbers, that definitely means that they're not ready to talk about the numbers for that because if Nintendo, if their numbers were great that day, they'd have been all over it. But I foresee that before Christmas we'll hear something. I will. I would
I
bet on
agree.
that.
Or if not, here when these other extra games that they were talking about, like Banjo Kazooie and stuff, like maybe we'll hear a roadmap of when all these other games are coming out.
Maybe, but hey, Nintendo can screw up all day long. This is still better than the launch of No Man's Sky. So let's just keep that in mind, everybody.
Or Cyberpunk.
Yes. Or, I mean, look what Cyberpunk did for everybody else. So for my son's friend listening, you got to listen to the whole episode for me to say it. So
You weren't gonna
you better
say
be
it too. I
listening.
had to remind you. So
I know.
you're welcome.
Th- we like to put it in randomly. That way we know he listens when he comes over to my house to eat my food like he normally does.
Yeah.
And yeah, good kid though. I joke, but he's a good kid. He's a good kid. So
All right. Well, this is the part of the show where we talk about different things, our outros, plugs for other people. I like to congratulate friend of the show, the Danamaster, on hitting affiliates over the weekend. So clap, clap, claps, all for him. Yeah, he's been working on this for a while, so he's been doing like his Sekiro speedruns. So if you're interested in seeing Sekiro, and speedrunning and all that stuff, take a look there. Also, friend of the show, obviously was the show at some point. Spencer, he did one of those charity stream things where like he was doing another speed run for Dark Souls. Do you know who won? I don't know, because
no,
it happened at like, I don't know if it happened at first 2 a.m. or second 2 a.m. because I know he had to go like really early. But if he won, awesome. If not, I'm sorry, man. There's always next time. But like, yeah, he barely streams anymore. But if he does stream, then yeah, check out his stuff for Dark Souls 2 streaming. Because yeah, Extra Life is over the weekend, so there's just a lot of different people doing things. But yeah, I guess that's all I really have. Would you like to close out today's episode?
of course, and don't forget, check us out on all major platforms for podcasts. Where you get your podcasts, hit subscribe, download, stream. Check us out on YouTube. Help us get to 100 so we don't have weird URLs. And also Facebook and Twitter. Join the group, talk, put up weird pictures that are appropriate to what we talk about. And go to our Anchor page where you can leave a voicemail.
Yes.
Don't be a jerk though, because I will play that live on air.
Don't be a jerk indeed.
Don't.
Now, I will say really quick here, we've talked about it before, but next week is our last live recording ish, like our last regular weekly podcast. So if you are wanting to leave anything, better do it before the 15th, I would say, just in case, because otherwise you might not be read on the episodes until next year.
But we have special episodes all lined up for you.
Yes, because
Great.
the algorithm hates it when you stop doing episodes. So we have to continue and do stuff. But it's fun. We like doing it, and we also like having a break. So we love doing the show, but yeah, it's nice to
It's nice.
it's nice to go home, relax, and get at it.
Get at it.